Okay, hello, Sun City. This is Mark Schwartz. I'm one of your presenters for the ILR, and I'm here to talk to you today about one of the courses I'll teach on World War II economics and production. Many of you who will sign up for the course like history, and you've studied World War II in that era. You've studied battles, campaigns, leaders, geography, and other things. But we're going to take this a step further. We're going to go into economics and production, which is another level altogether for the study of conflict and that particular war. For all those nations involved, it was an existential conflict, and they had to commit all their resources, people, money, manufacturing, and in doing so, it either helped them win the war, in the case of the Allies, the United States and Britain, lose the war, in the case of Germany, but it all had side effects for the population during the war and after the war. And when you look at this in wartime, especially something on the magnitude of a world war, the nations commit all their resources. Economics is part of the total war. Money, people, manufacturing, it all counts. And in this course, we're going to look first at the course of the United States, Britain, and Germany in their policies for war, their economic policies, how they prepared, how they managed their money, where it went, and how effective they were in doing so. We're also then going to look at war production. And in this case, you could actually generate a claim, reliably so, that the United States won the war on the home front simply by manufacturing more of the war goods, effective war goods, and also supplying the world with food to eat. Okay, so the claim is that we could say we won World War II from economics and production. We will look at the thought that we had some brilliant economists running our government effort to ramp up production, to manage the economy. These were people who had new statistical techniques, new tools, and they were very accurate in channeling resources, getting results. In fact, at one point during a conference, General George C. Marshall, the Chief of Staff of the Army, was talking about the cross-channel invasion, that it was going to happen in 1943. And a learned economist sitting across the table apparently looked back at him and said, General, you will not be making that invasion until the middle of 1944, likely June, because you won't have enough tanks, landing craft, soldiers, etc. When did D-Day happen? June of 1944. The Economist was right. And so we're going to look at things like, for example, I'll offer you um, a no one fact type of thing. The fact is 1/100th of an inch, and that was the manufacturing tolerance Detroit, the automakers, could do in building weapon systems, which meant that every part they made fit when it went down to the factory floor for assembly. All the spare parts fit when they went to a forward a repair center. Germany could not make that claim. And in fact, we will show you some graphs of how we ramped up production so quickly that actually that in late 1942 or 1943, the graphs of production for weapon systems and munitions were already dictating that the war was going to be won by the Allies. Had the Germans and Japanese been smart, they would have looked at that and said, let's negotiate. I don't think we're going to win this one. And so the United States made some drastic changes. Roosevelt abandoned the New Deal and surrounded themselves with hawks, with conservatives, with manufacturing and technology folks. That's what he needed to do to win the war. Um, and so we will do that. We'll also look at case studies. For example, the Ford Motor Company building B-24 bombers at their Willow Run plant in Detroit. They built more bombers, better better techniques in building them than the original manufacturer. Okay. We'll look at Kaiser, Henry Kaiser for shipbuilding, a miracle there. And all of this was happening where the United States was mobilized, mechanized, and Germany uh, just couldn't sustain itself against that kind of a massive bow wave. So anyhow, we'll look at all these things in the course. I think you'll find there's lots of information you've never heard before, and hopefully challenge you to think more about what a conflict like the current conflict in Iran is doing to our economy, be it good or bad. And you'll understand more of why these side effects, why these dynamics project themselves. So, anyhow, I'm looking forward to seeing you at Sun City ILR, and I hope you sign up for the course. Thank you.